Trump going back to controversial language, blaming both sides for the violence in Charlottesville. You'll remember this all started with protests about a Confederate statue attended by white supremacists and the alt-right.
And here's what happened in just a few hours that followed the president's comments. White House officials saying they're stunned and that the president's remarks were unplanned. Another CEO ditching the president's manufacturing council in protest, and we have been tracking fast, fierce responses from our lawmakers on Twitter.
We have team coverage tonight, including a vigil tonight on the National Mall, and live reports in just a moment.
But let's start with Michelle Marsh. She is here with more of what the president said. Michelle?
So if you're keeping track, this is the president's third round of remarks on Charlottesville, and it is a stark contrast to his prepared remarks yesterday, which he made after he was criticized the first time around. Today, he engaged in a 15-minute back and forth, unscripted, using a new term, alt-left, to describe some of the counter-protesters.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. Those people were also there because they wanted to protest the taking down of a statue, Robert E. Lee.
Trump pointed out that both George Washington and Thomas Jefferson owned slaves, implying it's a slippery slope when you start talking about removing statues. Allison?
All right, Michelle. Well, as you can imagine, a lot of reaction to the president's bombshell comments tonight, and we want to hear yours. Just go to WJLA.com/vote now and watch the live results on your screen. So we went out tonight. We showed people video of the press conference in case they hadn't seen it earlier, and we wanted to take the pulse in D.C. tonight, the nation's capital. Tom Rousey live at the Capitol with what he found. Tom, tell us about it.
Well, Allison, a lot of reaction, as you can imagine, to this tonight. As you'll see on your screen here, a lot of it is coming from the folks who work in that building behind me, but a lot of other folks reacting as well to what the president said.
George Washington was the founder of the nation.
The director of the NAACP's Washington Bureau called this moment disturbing.
I wonder, is it George Washington next week, and is it Thomas Jefferson the week after?
Hillary O. Shelton says there's no comparison with statues of Robert E. Lee and Confederates.
All of them were moving to dismantle the country, to pull it apart, to separate it. As a matter of fact, most would be considered traitors under today's law.
This is not leadership. This is not what mayors, presidents, governors do in moments of crisis.
Even many Republicans were critical. Northern Virginia Congresswoman Barbara Comstock tweeted, "Mr. President, there were not very fine people on the neo-Nazi white supremacist side. Only haters." We also got reaction on the National Mall.
I think my hope would be that an elected official who's representing a country should have planned remarks and speak with some forethought rather than sort of off the cuff.
I think there's blame on both sides.
I agree there's troublemakers in all areas of where we're at.
But Aaron Villioni wanted to hear how to move forward from violent protests.
As our leader, it would be nice to see guidance and showing us how to do that. And I don't feel we're getting that.
In Maryland, Prince George's County Executive Rashern Baker, a Democrat who is running for governor next year, actually put out a statement calling on the president to resign. Reporting in Northwest Live, I'm Tom Rousey, ABC 7 News.
All right, Tom, thank you. And now, new at 11, a gathering on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with the message that love defeats hate.
The crowd honoring those impacted by Charlottesville violence. Annalisa Gale live on the National Mall. Annalisa?
Well, Nancy and Allison, it started on the steps of the Jefferson Memorial, but about 3 hours ago, with many coming together to call for support for those impacted by the violence in Charlottesville. Roughly 200 people showed up for tonight's event. It was led by several UVA alumni who wanted to speak about the positive experiences they had while attending the university in Charlottesville. Many say they are shocked and disgusted by the violence over the weekend. They wanted to show that love defeats hate while also honoring those who died over the weekend, including Heather Heyer and the 2 Virginia state troopers who died in that helicopter crash.
The narrative that's being painted about the University of Virginia or Charlottesville as a city, it's really wrongheaded, and it doesn't really represent what the community stands for. It doesn't represent what we all experienced as UVA students.
We are one nation, indivisible. We are one people, regardless of color or creed or sexual orientation.
And Nancy and Allison, this was the second stop for that group. They wanted to stop here at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, mainly for this quote, "Out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope." Live on the National Mall tonight, Annalisa Gale, ABC 7 News.
Annalisa, thank you. And happening tomorrow, a memorial in honor of the young woman who died Saturday when that man slammed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. You can watch the memorial for Heather Heyer on WJLA.com or on our sister station, News Channel 8. It begins at 11 o'clock.
And the president tonight challenging the notion of removing Confederate statues. There are hundreds of them all across the country. We've been telling you about local landmarks now in question. And today, Governor Larry Hogan asked the State House Trust to remove this one here. It is the Roger Taney statue. Taney wrote the infamous 1857 Dred Scott decision upholding slavery and denying citizenship to black people. There is also a circulating petition to remove it. And the city of Alexandria, meantime, postponing Thursday's meeting to discuss new names for Jefferson Davis Highway. The move is designed to give people more time to take part in a survey. That questionnaire will be online until September 15th.